Are you sure your reality isn't just an extremely realistic game? The movie Protagonist can help you figure it out. The story takes place in Free City, a popular online game with a fantasy world and tons of possibilities. In the game, with the help of special points, players can have fun immersing themselves in a fictional reality and forgetting about their real life. Here, they can perform feats, seduce women, steal cars, or save the world, or even destroy it. We are introduced to the main character of the movie. Guy, as his character is called in the game. He lives inside Free City and seems completely happy. Every day he wakes up, stretches, greets his fish, eats breakfast, and goes to work at the bank. He enjoys a delicious coffee and saves up money for new sneakers, not paying attention to the events going on around him. Neither flying helicopters overhead, nor robots roaming the city, nor frequent fights embarrass him. However, Guy has one single problem. He longs to find true love. Suddenly, his world is interrupted when robbers break into the bank, gunshots ring out, and everyone else falls to the floor. But even this doesn't scare Guy. He continues to talk to his friend about his dream girl. At the same time, a new heroine appears in the game, Millie. She takes away some file from a mysterious man with a closed face and leaves, getting rid of her informant. Millie is one of the creators of the Free City source code. Fate brings her together with Guy on one of the city streets, and from that moment, an interesting story begins. Our hero says that she is humming his favorite song and looking at her with loving eyes. Millie is surprised, for she did not add such lines to the character. The guy runs after her but is suddenly hit by a train. Ouch! At the same moment, the girl exits the game, and we see her real appearance in real life. She's not as colorful as her character in the game, but she's still adorable. Millie plays Free City, not only for fun, but to find evidence that a developer named Antoine stole the code from her and her friend, and used it in this video game. The alarm clock rings and our boyfriend wakes up. He follows a familiar scenario, but at some point something goes wrong. In a coffee shop, he decides to try a drink new to him, cappuccino, which causes a shock to the barista and not only to her. All the characters in the room look at the guy with bewilderment, as they always order the same drink. A tank pulls up to the coffee shop and points its cannon at our guy. He immediately says it was a joke, and of course, he will have the same drink he always has. Nervously, he drinks his standard coffee and goes to work. The bank is broken into again by robbers, and everyone falls to the floor. But this time, the guy doesn't care about the joke at all. A guy discovers that the girl of his dreams is walking down the street again. Deciding to act, he approaches the robber and asks him for game glasses. A fight breaks out between them, during which our hero tears off the robber's glasses and accidentally pulls the trigger of his weapon. The villain gets wounded in the stomach and crashes into the wall. The guy throws the weapon away, goes outside and puts on the stolen game glasses, which change his view of the world. Now he notices things that previously escaped the attention of others. A first aid kit lying right on the street. It turns out that he can download this first aid kit into his in-game self and see Free City no longer as a character, but as a real player. In this way, he managed to get a large sum of money and finally buy the new sneakers he had been dreaming of for so long. However, after getting so carried away, he was almost hit by a train. His reflexes kicked in just in time and he managed to stop. At this time, we are introduced to Keys, the second developer of Free City, who analyzes the guy's behavior in the game, trying to understand how a non-player character could attack a real player if it was not intended in the code. Keys also joins the game, choosing the skin of a policeman, and his colleague Mauser turns into a pink rabbit. They find the guy and interrogate him, suspecting that one of the players is illegally using the skin of an external character. The guy doesn't realize anything. and a shootout between the policeman and the rabbit begins. Our hero tries to escape, realizing that his new sneakers allow him to perform super jumps. However, he's not too agile and runs into obstacles several times, crashing into a metal support and the ceiling. On his third jump, he manages to reach the roof, but the policeman and the rabbit create a ladder and start chasing him. Our hero tries to reach the cable of the crane, but failure. The guy falls from a huge skyscraper. But thanks to the airbag in the form of 4 inflatable circles, his life is not threatened. He frees himself and excitedly shouts that he is now immortal. Suddenly, he is hit by a police car. Ouch! Keys and Mouser get out, having completed their task. Though they remain clueless as to what's going on, the guy was gotten rid of, but the number of players didn't change. So he wasn't a regular player. But then who was he? Keys returns home and watches an interview where he and Millie talk about the development of an unusual video game with a unique code. The guys were really hoping that their game would be released soon, but unhappily, it didn't happen. It is at this point that Millie comes to Keys and an argument begins between them. During the conversation, it is revealed that a developer named Antoine has stolen the code for their game Free City from them. Millie decides to investigate the game itself, creating a character named Molotov Girl to find evidence against Antoine. Keys, for his part, decides to make peace with the injustice and begins working for Antoine's company. Meanwhile, our hero wakes up and swears to himself that today everything will change. At this moment, Millie also joins the game and tries to break into the stash where the evidence of their stolen code is kept. Suddenly, a guy approaches Millie, but she thinks it's just another player with an unusual skin in the form of a guy in a blue shirt. Our hero is completely unaware that he's not actually a real person and doesn't quite understand the gamer lingo Millie uses. They find themselves under fire from the hiding place, and Millie pulls out a gun in self-defense. Realizing that the forces are unequal, Millie decides to teleport, and our hero follows her, jumping into the portal. Millie breaks into the weapons warehouse and advises the guy to level up, since he's only level 1 and not capable of much. She agrees to be his girlfriend when he reaches the 100th level. The guy decides to become a hero and do good deeds to evolve and meet the girl of his dreams. He fights criminals and protects the innocent, although he often loses at first. However, he realizes that he can wake up in his bed again and again and start over. Each time he grows stronger. New stories begin to depict his exploits in real life. At this time, Millie tries to break into the stash again. Keys helps her open the door and Millie finds her source code. But then the alarm goes off and they are attacked by a mob of armed men. Millie fires back, but the enemies are too many and all the exits are booby-trapped. Suddenly, a guy on a powerful motorcycle rushes into the building and scatters the villains in all directions. Now they fight together and help each other survive. The guy looks admiringly at Millie, who turns out to be a master of martial arts. However, the enemies continue their attack, and the couple quickly jumps on a motorcycle, leaving the building at full speed. Luckily, they have a jet parachute and escape. But despite their best efforts, they still can't get the code they need. In the office of the corporation appears unpleasant and greedy Antoine, who is boorish to his subordinates and plans to launch Free City 2. The guy in the game is proud of his fleet of cars and high level and impresses Millie. She mistakes him for a cool hacker who can help her get the code she needs. Guy and Millie walk around town at night and discover they have a lot in common. They both love bubblegum flavored ice cream and going on swings. Millie shares her life story with her boyfriend and the two share their first kiss. But their idyll is interrupted by a knock on the door. Keys comes to Millie and informs her that Antoine has stolen their code and created living non-fiction characters, including the guy in the blue shirt, who turns out to be an artificial intelligence. Millie is shocked by this information and is upset that she kissed a guy who wasn't real. Millie is immersed in the game again, and she takes the guy to the hero's tavern. There, she tells him that the whole town is a game, and he's just a non-player character who doesn't really exist. However, that's not the worst news yet. 2 days later, Free City 2 launches, and all the old data will be completely deleted, including the guy himself. Millie cries and asks our hero to help save this game world. But the guy feels a deep disappointment. He takes off his glasses and hurries to the ocean shore, realizing that his whole world was an illusion. The guy goes to his former work colleague and tries to tell him the whole truth. His comrade takes it calmly and believes that what matters is not whether you exist physically, but whether you have sincere feelings. The guy realizes that he needs to save his world at any cost. They go to a stash house to get the source code for Millie. The owner of the place turns out to be another player who admires the guy and has no problem giving him the code he needs. The guy delivers it to Millie, and together they discover proof that Antoine stole their source code. The popularity of the hero in the blue shirt becomes an obstacle to the successful launch of Free City 2. Antoine orders Keys to reset the game world and delete the guy's data, but Keys refuses to follow this command and quits. Antoine then decides to do it himself. When the server restarts, players are temporarily knocked out of the game and everything virtual starts to disappear. After restarting the game, our guy returns to the default settings and wakes up in his apartment, continuing to live according to the former algorithm. He feeds the fish, puts on his usual suit, eats breakfast, and meets a friend for coffee. At this time, Millie finds him and wants to talk, but the guy doesn't remember anything about his former life. The girl desperately decides to get out. At this point, she receives a call from Keys, claiming that the guy's memory can be returned. The main thing is to figure out how to do it. Keys admits that he brought his own preferences and the image of an ideal girl into the code of this character. This explains the guy's falling in love with Millie at first sight. The girl returns to the game and takes him hostage in the bank where he works. Millie forces him to put on his gaming goggles and explains that in 24 hours the world will completely disappear. In a hopeless attempt to bring back his memory of the past, Millie kisses the guy. As a result, the guy remembers all past events and details, including the location of the hidden island where the game's source code is stored. Guy and Millie gather all the non-player characters and convince them that they are more than just a set of numbers. A veritable revolt of the machines begins. The players come to rob a bank and there's no one there. They wander the streets dejectedly and find not a single non-player character. The thing is, they're all in a coffee shop, trying new drinks from the barista. Meanwhile, Antoine is about to destroy the world of Free City and erase all the evidence. He also wants to destroy Hammer Girl, Millie's character. With the help of the guy and Keys, the girl manages to escape from a dozen out-of-control cars. Moreover, Keys creates a bridge to the island and hacks the security system. Antoine is hysterical. He demands that all players be removed from Free City and a dude be brought into the game. Millie's character disappears, saying lastly that now the fate of the whole world is only in the dude's hands. At that moment, the dude attacks him. It's a huge jock, an incomplete and unintelligent copy of the guy, designed for Free City 2. The dude is much stronger than the guy. A fellow banker comes to his rescue, but he too gets knocked out. Looks like our hero doesn't stand a chance. But wait. He finds game points and uses Captain America's shield, the Hulk's arm, and then even a Jedi lightsaber and a laser cannon. Still, the dude manages to take him down. Then the guy puts his gaming goggles on him, and the dude gets distracted by all sorts of shiny things. In a rage, Antoine grabs an axe and starts manually destroying the game's servers. The Free City universe collapses right before the eyes of gamers from all corners of the planet. But our guy, against all odds, manages to reach the island and show the world the source code created by Millie and Keys. Meanwhile, in the real world, Millie catches up with a furious Antoine and asks him to give her back the Free City code. In return, she will not sue him, and all profits from Free City 2 and future versions will belong to him alone. Greedy Antoine gladly agrees, except that Free City 2 turns out to be a complete failure. Millie and Keys release their own free life game. They import both the guy and all the inhabitants from Free City into the new world. It's a real hit. Millie, in character as Molotov Girl, joins the game and goes on a date with the guy. He realizes that the girl of his dreams can't live in the virtual world all the time and lets her go. At parting, the guy confesses his love to her and tells her that he is just a message from his creator. Millie realizes that Keys, who created the guy, is actually madly in love with her. She rips off her headphones and runs after Keys. Now they're not just friends, but a couple in love. Well, our guy in the virtual world isn't bored either. He befriends a dude and meets his comrade again, with whom he once worked in a bank in free life. Together, they set off to meet new adventures. Did you like our review? Then give it a like, and be sure to share the video with your friends. Kvass was with you, and we are going to prepare a new cool review for you.